Now we can proceed. The first question for today. Remember that our equation is y is equal to mx plus c. That is what we are using. The first question says that for the line y equals minus 3x plus 4. So y is equal to minus 3x plus 4. State the intercept on the y-axis and the gradient of the line. So all we are going to do here is to match up the equation of the straight line y is equal to mx plus c with the given equation. So as you can see, y is y and here x is x, but the coefficient of x right here at the top is -3, which matches the m that we have beneath it. So we can say that m is equal to -3 and c is equal to 4. So which means that the gradient of y is equal to minus 3x plus 4 is -3, and the intercept, which is the y-intercept, is equal to 4. Now you might be asking, why am I being specific about just the y-intercept? What if we are to find the x-intercept? Well, the x-intercept is a little bit tricky and cannot be directly found using the formula. To find the x-intercept, you are going to set y to be equal to 0. And when you set y to be equal to 0, you have 0 as equal to minus 3x plus 4. And then you have 3x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 4/3. So in this instance, if you ever have the need to find the x-intercept, then the answer would be 4/3. Let's proceed to the second one. 2y minus 5x is equal to 10. Remember that the standard is that y is equal to mx plus c. So, and if you look at the first equation that we are trying to match up with the second equation, you will see that it seems as if it is not in the standard form. So we have to rewrite it such that y becomes the subject of the formula. So which means we have 2y is equal to 10, or we can say 5x plus 10. Since we brought the -5 here over the equality sign, it becomes positive and the existing 10 becomes a plus 10. Again, if you still see right here, you see that you still have a 2 as the coefficient of y. So which means we have to divide through by 2, or divide both sides by 2. So you have 2y divided by 2 is equal to 5x plus 10 divided by 2. So this 2 divides this 2. And y is equal to 5x plus 10 divided by 2. Remember that this can be split into 5x divided by 2 plus 10 divided by 2. So which means we have 5x over 2 plus 5. Now, we have re-expressed this equation as 5x over 2 plus 5. Now we'll put that side by side with the existing equation we have. Then we'll be having y is equal to 5x over 2 plus 5. Now, by quick comparison, you're going to see that m is equal to 5 over 2 and c is equal to 5. This is the slope and the y-intercept. The slope is 5 over 2 and the y-intercept is 5. Now we could have someone there saying that, is it not possible for us to express our answer in decimal? Yes, you can express your answer in decimal. Now we have another question. Okay, and that is here. It says that you should state the gradient of the line x equals to 4, and the second equation is minus y is equal to 8. If you compare the equations that we have here in question 3 to the ones that we've previously had, we're going to see that there is a slight difference between the two. And we know that though our comparison is with the existing equation, which is y equals to mx plus c, let's try to see if we can do that for x is equal to 4. Now x is equal to 4, if we try to write it in such a way that the intercept and the x are on the same side, then we can simply say that, okay, we can say that x minus 4 is equal to 0. Remember that for x equals to 4, we don't have anything that has to do with y at all. In this case, the best way to explain this is to try to express what we have on a plane. So I'm going to try to show you what x is equal to 4 looks like on a plane. So let's do that. Here's the y-axis. Here's the x-axis. So let's call this 1. Let's call this 2. Let's call this 3. Let's call this 4. Let's call this 5. Because we want to draw the line for x is equal to 4, then it means that we're going to go to where x is 4, because here is the x-axis. So here is where x is 4. Then we have to draw a vertical line. Remember that we said something about these types of line, that if you have a line that is parallel to the y-axis, this line doesn't have a slope. Or again, we can say that the slope is undefined, which means that the gradient of x is equal to 4 is undefined. Or you can say that x is equal to 4 is a line with no gradient. I want to believe that is clear. For the second question, however, you have negative y is equal to 8. So let me try to see if I can use this part of the, okay. So y negative is equal to 8. So for this, we can divide both sides by minus 1, right? And, minus 1, minus 1. Or you can multiply both sides by minus 1, whichever way. Okay, so this becomes y is equal to minus 8. Now again, we are comparing with y is equal to mx plus c. And when we do that, we have y is equal to, remember that your slope only works with a constant time. Your intercept works with a constant. If you notice the example we had up here, is that the c that is equal to 5 here works only with the fact that c is the intercept and 5 is a constant time. So which means that for y equals to minus 8, c is equal to minus 8, which is a constant term. But it seems as if your mx is missing. So what we can do in that case is to, since we know that any number multiplied by 0 is 0, so we can rewrite this as 0x minus 8. Of course, this is like 0 minus 8. So 0x is this 0. Okay, so by matching that up again with y is equal to mx plus c, then we see that m is equal to 0 and c is equal to negative 8. So which means that This line has zero slope and has an intercept of -8. So if I am to draw the line for this, the graph for that, then this is what it's going to look like. So let's say I mark my -8 somewhere here, -8. Then my zero slope is going to be such that it's going to be parallel to the x-axis. Question 4. A straight line passes through the y-axis at -6. A straight line passes through the y-axis at -6. That tells you something. It passes through the y-axis. So there is a cut through the y-axis at -6. So which means that the interpretation for that says that c is equal to -6. So which means that if I am to draw just a sketch, it's just a sketch, okay, like this, okay, and we have intercept as -6. So let's say we have a -6 right here. So it means that this is what your graph is going to look like. Something like this. Yeah. Right. So the slope m is equal to 1/2, because the question has told us that the gradient is 1/2. Now, how do we find the equation of this line? We have the intercept and then we have the slope. Remember that the formula we are still using is y is equal to mx plus c. So all we have to do is to plug in the values that we have back into the equation. So we have y equals m is 1/2 and x plus c, which is -6, I beg your pardon. Okay, since we have that c is -6, so we just replace the c that we have here with -6. The last question. It says that given that the equation 4x plus 2y plus 8 equals 0, determine the gradient and the point where it cuts the y-axis. This seems very similar to what we had in question 2, but I'm still going to take it one more time for the sake of emphasis. 4x minus 2y, plus 2y plus 8 is equal to 0. So all we need is y on one side and every other thing on the other side. So we can let the 2y we have here remain. Then we take the 4x here to the other side, so it becomes negative. And we take our plus 8 to the other side again, it also becomes negative. Remember that the coefficient of y must always be unitary, that is, it must be 1. So which means that we divide through by 2. What I did here, it doesn't necessarily have to be like this. You can just divide through by 2. That is, we can say 2y divided by 2 is equal to minus 4x divided by 2. And then we have minus 8 divided by 2. So which means that these two can simply divide each of the term that you have in the equation. Now this 2 divides this, we have y is equal to 2 divides -4, you have -2x. And 8 over 2 is 4, so you have -4. When you put that side by side with mx plus c, we can easily see that m is equal to -2 and c is equal to -4. Now back to the question. Determine the gradient. The gradient is the slope. M is equal to -2. So the gradient is -2. And the point where it cuts the y-axis. Where it cuts the y-axis, if we are to be more specific, that is, if we want to try to write it in form of a coordinate, then this c equals minus 4, since it is on the y-axis, don't forget that this equation y equals mx plus c, the c here, which is the intercept, is working just for the y-intercept. Right, so which means that if we want to write this in form of coordinate, then remember that your coordinate is written as x comma y, and y-intercept on the y-axis, x is 0, so which means that you have 0 comma a minus 4. So whether it is being stated that this is an intercept or this is not an intercept, when you see things like 0 comma minus 4, you know x is 0 and y is 4. That tells you that the y-intercept is minus 4. The same thing goes for x as well. Let's say you have a term like 3 comma 0. It means that this is more like an x-intercept. That is, at the point where the line crosses x-axis, which is at x is equal to 3. So I'll take a pause now, and I will be allowing you to solve just one of the 3 questions that we have here. Okay, let's make it 2. So answer question 1 and question 2. Forget about question 3 for now. So I'll be checking the chat box now for your questions and your comments. Okay. The microphone is on. If you have any question, please ask before we proceed. I should explain number 3 again. Who else? Okay, since we have someone requesting that we should take question 3 again, I think we'll have to take question 3 again. Okay. So question 3. Okay, so basically the idea is this. You don't have to go through the complex stuff. The idea is this. If you have x is equal to something, that is maybe x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 3, you don't have anything that has to do with y. Okay, no y component. Okay, so all you just have to understand there is you have a vertical line that goes through the x-axis, so which means that that line is not going to have a slope based on what we've said previously. And for minus y is equal to 8, minus y is equal to 8 is basically the same as saying y is equal to minus 8. So if I'm to draw the line for that, okay, so ká sọ pé ibi báyìí ni minus 8 wà, ìsàlẹ̀ ibi báyìí. So tí n bá ya line yìí, this line, because this is on y-axis, right, and this point here, which is the minus 8 that you have here, is on the y-axis. So automatically this is the line y is equal to minus 8. Alright, so which means basically it is parallel to the x-axis. So this has, once it is sleeping on the ground, you can say that the slope is equal to 0. And the intercept, the line to cut the y-axis, the intercept is minus 8. But for x, x equals to 4 yìí kò fara kan y-axis rárá. Ó kàn ń bọ̀ látòkè, ó gba x-axis kọjá, ó dẹ̀ ń bá tiẹ̀ lọ. so kò ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú y axis. That's why tá fi sọ wípé okay, since tí ó ti ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú y axis tó dẹ̀ ti parallel sí y axis àti sọ pé kò ní slope nìyẹn. We have been able to establish that in our previous classes. Ibẹ̀ láti ní things like that ní bóyá bí 6/0, that ní 1/0, things like that. Tàbí wá sọ pé okay o, nǹkan bí eléyìí o, wọ́n máa ń sọ pé it is undefined. So that's basically what is there. X is equal to 4, no slope. Y is equal to anything tí ò ní x, 0 slope lónìí. So that's it. Responses. I think we have just one person. Gradient is equal to -3 and intercept is equal to 6 for number 1. What about question 2? Don't forget that the formula you are going to use is y is equal to mx plus c. And for this one, all you just have to do is to make y the subject of the formula. Take your 3x to this side. Take your -6 to this side. It becomes plus. Then compare it with the formula, and then you have what you are looking for. Excuse me. And then for question 2, you just need to write the equation, and that's it. You don't have to identify anything, just write the equation. Okay, so we have from okay, gradient is -3 and intercept is 6, right? Okay, so we are going to continue from here. We cannot wait for any more answers because of time. Right, so for the first one, you have 3x plus y minus 6 is equal to 0. So y equals, I can add 3x here, it becomes minus 3x. And this minus 6 it becomes plus 6. So while they compare, y is equal to mx plus c. So m is equal to -3 and c is equal to 6. So for everyone that said m equals to -3 and c is equal to 6, you are on the right path. Your answer is correct. And for the second one, like we said previously, that if a line cuts the y-axis at a particular point, at a particular value, that becomes the y-intercept. Automatically, it becomes your c. Okay, so which means that for question 2, c is equal to 3 and m is equal to -2. So eléyìí ni wàá kàn dá padà sínú equation yẹn pé y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to m is -2 minus 2x. C is 3 plus 3. So I think for that question we have 1, 2, 3, 4 persons. We have Kolapo, Temitope, Ebun. Then we have Peter, Dodonjaye, and Yelami, Jalil, and Sanusi Bronke. Alright, so those are the people that provided the answer. So thank you very much. So let's proceed to the next part of of what we are supposed to learn for today. The equation of a straight line given 1 point and its gradient. So in this case, I'm going to explain this part in Yoruba. Ibi báyìí nǹkan tí wọ́n ń sọ ni pé ẹ fẹ́ wá equation straight line, but nǹkan méjì péré náà fún yín. Wọ́n fún yín ní point kan, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti fún yín ní gradient kan náà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Okay, so let's say we have our line again, like we always do. Okay, so we have our line. Here you have the y-axis, and here you have the x-axis. Right, so we'll find any point. So the point we are talking about here is just a random point. Okay, a random point. Let's say A. That will be x1, y1. okay, then wanted to find a gradient. That's the idea, okay, 1 point and its gradient. That's all that we have, okay. So how do we make sense out of that? So let's say we have another straight line and we are still going to continue to use that formula for gradient, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, okay. So how do we go about that? Let's draw our line again, okay. Let me take that again, please. So let's say we have another straight line like we used to, and on this straight line we have your x1, y1. Okay, so we have a, which is x1 and y1, and we have our slope to be m. Remember that I talked about, there is something that I talked about, that if you have, sorry, I mute my mic. I believe everyone can hear me now. I'm sorry. Right, so yeah, so what we are learning, like I was saying the other time, that in kata anko ni equation of a straight line given 1 point and a gradient. Want to find a point x1, y1. Wanted to find a gradient, which is m. So in meji ta ma fún ẹnìyẹn tó fún ma ní kó wá equation of a straight line. So what we now want to do is after derive expression from. So I was okay, we have a straight line. Gradient here m ni. Point tí wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n fún wa given 1 point x1, y1 òun lélẹ́yìí. So mo wá sọ pé tẹ́ bá rántí ní last week a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé ká mú random point kan níbí báyìí tá a pè ní x, y. So idea yẹn náà la máa lò fún eléyìí náà. So a ti mọ̀ wípé eléyìí o, this is rice, and ibi báyìí is run. So this is your x, ibi báyìí wá sísàlẹ̀ by x, because nǹkan tó wà níbí báyìí la follow x wá sísàlẹ̀, then tá bá trace eléyìí náà wá sísàlẹ̀, eléyìí máa jẹ́ x1. Then tá bá trace eléyìí wá sápá bí báyìí, òun náà máa jẹ́ y, and if we trace this as well, you're going to have y1. So if you write the expression for this rice, òun máa jẹ́ y minus y1. Tá bá dẹ̀ kọ expression fún eléyìí náà máa jẹ́ x minus x1. Now remember that formula slope m is rice over run. So rice wa is y, kìí ṣe rice là ń jẹ o, y minus y1 over x minus x1. ìyẹn lélẹ̀ tó ti wà nílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. So which means that our m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Ṣẹ̀rí formula yìí wọ́n ní èèyàn máa ń lò tí wọ́n bá fún ẹ ní gradient kan àti point kan. Àwọn míì nínú àwọn textbook mi, you find it written as y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. Nǹkan tí wọ́n kàn ṣe ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n sọ pé eléyìí kó jẹ́ over 1. Ìbáyìí kó jẹ́ over 1. Wọ́n wá cross multiply. So bó ṣe cross multiply yẹn, 1 times y minus kìíní kan òun lélẹ́yìí. Then m times x minus, torí pé eléyìí ti jẹ́ méjì, wọ́n kúkú olùrẹ̀ sínú bracket, wọ́n wá fi multiply m. So that's why we have this expression. So anytime you are trying to find the equation of a straight line given 1 point and the gradient, you can use this or you can use this. But I want to believe that it is easier to recall this than this. So let's quickly apply that. Let's look at example 1. What is the equation of a line through this angle? Ẹ máa rí pé question yìí ń sí, wọ́n fún yín ní point kan, wọ́n dẹ̀ fún yín ní gradient. So tá bá ní ká kọ sílẹ̀ ń sí, what we are going to be having is m is equal to 2 over 3, ìyẹn ní gradient. And for the other one, 3 comma minus 1, ìyẹn ní point. So you have 3 comma minus 1. So for this 3 comma minus 1, what we can extract here is x1 y1, because x1 y1, x àti y kò pé méjì, ẹyọ̀kan náà ni. Okay, so that's why we say this is x1 and this is y1. So don't forget your formula. The formula automatic for any gradient kan, it's going to be y minus y1 over x minus x1. So what you just do is to fit in the what you have on the equation here. Okay, so le máa di pé m 2 over 3 a yí ilẹ̀ padà sí 2 over 3, okay, is equal to y minus y1 minus 1 ní minus kan dẹ̀ ti wà nílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, so wàá ṣí bracket á jẹ́ minus 1, wàá dẹ̀ pa bracket yẹn dé over x minus kíni x1 3 ní ó jẹ́ 3, so lè jẹ́ ó continue by ó jẹ́ 2 over 3 is equal to y minus times minus ó jẹ́ plus 1 over x minus 3. Now kí la máa ṣe láti bí báyìí? Ìwọ tó bá máa ń gbé kíláàsì ti mọ̀ pé nǹkan tá máa ṣe nígbà ni pé ká cross multiply. Tá bá dẹ̀ cross multiply a máa rí pé 3 we multiply y plus 1, then 2 náà dẹ̀ máa multiply kí ni o x minus 3. Kí ló kù tá máa ṣe? A máa ṣí bracket ni, kò sí nǹkan tá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ju pé ká ṣí bracket lọ. So tá bá ṣí bracket yìí máa jẹ́ 3y plus 3 is equal to 2 times x ó jẹ́ 2x, 2 times minus 3 ó ṣe kí ni o ó ṣe minus 6. Now ó wá depend lórí bó bá ṣe fẹ́ sí. You can see that we still have plus 3 here, we have minus 6 here, so you can still bring both of them together. O lè fi 3y lẹ́yìn bí báyìí kí 3 yìí kó lọ bá wọn ní bí báyìí, so you have 2x minus 6 minus 3, so you have 3y is equal to 2x minus 9. Tó bá wọ̀ o lè filẹ̀ báyìí, tó bá dẹ̀ wù ẹ́ o tún lè yí. Ìdí tí mo fi sọ pé o tún lè yí ni pé in the exam, in some exams you find it written in many ways. Bí answer ṣe jẹ́ kíní tó bá rí nǹkan tó get lélẹ̀ tó wá wọnú option ó wá bá ó ṣe jẹ́ kí wọ́n tún ti yí, in the sense that bó ṣe wáyé báyìí tó bá wọnú option tó bá ti bá o lè gbé 9 yìí tó jẹ́ minus 9 yìí o lè gbé wá síbi tí 3y wà, so bó ṣe wáyé báyìí wá o lè tún kọ́ as jẹ́ n gbé síbí báyìí o lè tún kọ́ as 3y plus 9 is equal to 2x. O lè bá bí eléyìí. Ìgbà míì wọ́n tún lè gbé 2x yẹn sápá bí báyìí kan sọ pé okay o àwọn ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kó dúró bí báyìí kó wà báyìí 2x is equal to 3y plus 9. Ọwọ́ ènìyàn wá kù sí bó bá ṣe mọ change of subject ṣe sí òun ló máa determine. Bó tún ṣe wà yẹn wọ́n tún lè sọ pé irọ́ o àwọn ò ní kọ́ bí eléyìí o, àwọn lè fi 2x yìí káwọn fi divide gbogbo nǹkan tó wà ní báyìí, so á jẹ́ x 3y over 2. Mo ti fi 2 yìí mo ti fi gé léyìí o, òun ló ṣe kó x sí bí báyìí plus 9 over 2. So wọ́n lè yí, so bàbá ṣe ń yí sí ìwọ náà bàbá ṣe ń yí wọn sí ọ̀tún kí wọ́n náà máa dá wọn padà sósì, ọwọ́ ènìyàn wá kù sí. Now for B part, in our last lesson someone asked a question that tí a bá ní point mẹ́ta tó dúró sórí line, fẹ́yìn nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ bá rántí pé tá a bá ní point mẹ́ta tó tò sórí line pé báwo la ṣe máa ṣe. Ṣé rí irú question yìí ó fẹ́ jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wípé does the point 2,3 lie on this line? Ìyẹn ni pé ṣé tá a bá tiẹ̀ ya, if we should draw the straight line of this equation, if we pick a random point at any point, here we have 2,3, will that 2,3 be on the straight line? Ǹjẹ́ a máa bá ń bẹ̀? For instance nísìn ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré já bí báyìí lò, wọ́n ya straight line, wọ́n á sọ pé okay o níbi straight line yìí o pé ṣé tá bá mark ibi kan bí báyìí bí ṣe ó lè bọ́ sórí line yìí bó ṣe bọ́ sórí ẹ̀ yìí. Okay, but here is a visual representation, and what we are trying to do is not a visual representation, it's algebraic. It doesn't have anything to do with the graphical part. So how do you do that ní algebra? Now nǹkan tí wàá ṣe ni pé the existing equation, nǹkan tó ti kọ́kọ́ get tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, which is 3y is equal to 2x minus 9 yìí, àwa mú point tán sọ yẹn 2,3 yẹn 2,3, ó ti mọ̀ pé 2x ni 3y ni, ó wá mú x yẹn ó wá dá padà sínú equation yẹn, ó mú y náà ó dá padà sínú equation. So tí n bá mú x tí n bá dá padà sínú equation àti y lè máa jẹ́ 3 times y is 3 is equal to 2 times x is 2 minus 9. So ilé jẹ́ 9, 3 times 3 9. Ibi báyìí ó ṣe 4 minus 9. Nígbà tá a ṣe 9 is equal to 4 minus 9, ìyẹn jẹ́ minus 5. A ti jọ rí pé 9 is not equal to minus 5. So in that case, 2,3 does not lie on that straight line. Mi mọ̀ bóyá nǹkan tí mo ń sọ tó bá yé, tó bá ní question pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí mo ṣe lálàyé yẹn, o lè béèrè lórí nínú comment section. So what I simply did is, after you've gotten your, okay, for example, see, let's go back to one of the equations that it derived látẹ̀yìnwá. Check out now. Okay, ẹ wo relé nsìn, ẹ wo question, equation. Ẹnìkan wá bi ẹ́ pé tá bá fa ìlà kíní yìí wípé níbo ni ẹ lè sọ pé 1,0, pé ṣé a lè bá 1,0, ṣé bí line ṣe ń lọ ṣé ó lè gba 1,0 kọjá. Nǹkan tó kàn ṣe ni pé ó wá lọ pé okay o, ibi báyìí lè x lè àbí y lè lọ fún àbí. So jẹ́ kí n wá kíbọnú ibi báyìí, y is 0. Eléyìí minus 3 ló wà ńbẹ̀, minus 3 times x tó wà ńbẹ̀ báyìí 1 plus 4. Okay, so 0 is equal to minus 3 plus 4. 0 is equal to 1. Ọ̀dọ̀ wa mọ̀ pé kò sẹ́ àfẹ́yìn tí nǹkan bá ń ṣe 0 kò equal to 1. So 1 is not equal to 0. So in that case, a tún lè sọ pé again pé 1,0 line yẹn ò lè ever gba orí 1,0 kọjá, tàbí kó sọ pé 1,0 kò lè ever sí lórí line yẹn. So ìyẹn mo rò pé ìyẹn ti yé. Tí ó bá yé, ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ so that màá lè tún ṣàlàyé tí ó bá yé. But if it is clear, then I guess I'll just move on with the third part of example 1. So in the third part, it said find the coordinate of the point where this line cuts the axis. Ìyẹn ní agbára díẹ̀ o, because nǹkan tí wọ́n try láti sọ mí báyìí ni pé axis tó ń sọ mí báyìí, axis méjèèjì ni o. Tẹ́ bá ti rí tán kọ axis tán kọ AXEX. Okay, a jẹ́ wípé àti x axis àti y axis. But ibi tí mo máa kọ sí báyìí, èyí tí mo filẹ̀ báyìí kò fẹ́ ṣe bí ẹni tó. So I will manage this part for question tá à ń ṣe lọ́wọ́. So a ti padà sí bíbá yìí sìn, a ti verify nǹkan tá a fẹ́ verify, it's not equal. So 2,3 does not lie on the line. Now let's come back to àwọn kan máa sọ pé kò yé àwọn. Ọláìtàn, Táíwò, Munirat, Adolúajé, wọ́n ní ò yé àwọn. Please, if you don't understand, please kindly react so that I am going to take the question again. If you don't understand, kindly react. Okay, someone signified. All right, okay. Let me start all over again then. I understand. Okay, I understand. So let me take it all over again. ẹ jẹ́ kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ again. Mo ti gbọ́ o. Let me take that all over again. It's not clear. Okay, so ẹ jẹ́ ká tún farabalẹ̀ wò. Question 1 yìí nǹkan tó ń sọ ni pé what is the equation of the line through this one? So a ti mọ̀ pé 3,1 is the point and gradient m is equal to 2/3. Now the formula we are using for this one is not hard. The formula is m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Now point tí wọ́n fún wa yìí náà ni ó padà jẹ́ x1 y1. Now we will now substitute what we have back into this place. M 2/3. A yí m yìí sí 2/3. Èyí báyìí yóò wálẹ̀, ilé máa di 2/3 is equal to y minus y1 ìyẹn jẹ́ 1. Okay, minus 1 mà ní. Sorry o, minus 1. Ó ṣe minus 1 over x minus x1 wa is 3. Akọ 3 sílẹ̀. So lẹ́yìn yẹn a wá sọ wípé okay ká parí nǹkan tó wà níbí báyìí 2/3 is equal to y plus 1 over x minus 3. We cross multiplied. 3 multiply y plus 1. Abi? Then 2 multiply x minus 3. Àwa ṣí bracket yẹn. Ó wá jẹ́ 3y plus 3 is equal to 2x minus 6. A wá sọ pé at least tó bá tiẹ̀ lè ṣe nǹkan kan mọ́ níbi tó dé yìí ó yẹ kó lè mọ̀ pé nọ́mbà yìí àti nọ́mbà yìí like terms ni. O sì lè wá nǹkan kan ṣe sí 3 àti 6 kan fi wà papọ̀. So mo wá sọ pé okay o 3y is equal to 2x minus 6. Mo wá fẹ́ gbé 3 wá sí bí báyìí àdì minus. So yìí jẹ́ 3y is equal to 2x minus 9. Eléyìí ni equation line tá à ń sọ. Nǹkan tó béèrè lélẹ́yìí. So èmi wá sọ pé nínú exam ó máa ń yí o lè wọnú option kó má jọ nǹkan tó padà gẹ́ẹ̀tì but nǹkan kan náà ni you have the same answer but probably because of some terms that has been changed either from the left hand side to the right hand side or from the right hand side to the left hand side. It might not look similar. And I'll say that there are certain things you can do like taking your -9 to where you have your y, your 3y. Ó ti mọ̀ pé tí -9 bá dẹ̀ ti wá sí bí báyìí ó máa di plus ló fi jẹ́ 3y plus 9 is equal to 2x. So tá bá dẹ̀ kọ́ pé 1 is equal to x ó yẹ kó mọ̀ pé ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀ náà ni pé x is equal to 1. Tó túmọ̀ sí pé nǹkan tó kọ́ bí ó tún lè tún kọ́ as 2x is equal to 3y plus 9. So ẹ jẹ́ á dúró ń bẹ̀ yẹn kó tó dàrú pátápátá ẹ jẹ́ á dúró ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Now nǹkan tí question b wá sọ ẹ jẹ́ kí lè jẹ́ a báyìí. Nǹkan tí question b wá sọ nǹkan tó get ní a because tó bá ní equation nílẹ̀ kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ mọ pọ́ìntì bóyá ó wà lórí ìlà àbí kò sí lórí ìlà torí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ mọ̀ ni pé ẹnìkan tẹ́ ẹ mú nínú school kan ṣé ó wà ní kíláàsì yìí àbí kò sí ní kíláàsì yìí kẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ tó mọ̀ bóyá èèyàn wà ní kíláàsì àbí ó sì ní kíláàsì ẹ máa kọ́kọ́ ní kíláàsì ẹ máa kọ́kọ́ mọ kíláàsì yẹn náà kẹ́ẹ̀ tó lè mọ̀ bóyá ẹni yẹn bóyá kíláàsì yẹn ló wà. So you can take your class here as 3y is equal to 2x minus 9. Ẹni tẹ́ fẹ́ wá wò bóyá ó wà ní kíláàsì àbí ó sì ní kíláàsì is the 2,3. So nǹkan tẹ́mi wá ń sọ ni pé ẹ wá mú what you have here ẹni yẹn ẹ wá fi sínú kíláàsì yẹn. Tó bá ti wá wọnú kíláàsì yẹn, àwọn tó bá wà nínú kíláàsì la wá sọ pé àyè wà o, àyè ò sí o, ẹni yìí ara wa ni o, ẹni yìí o kò kí ń ṣara wa o. So how do you determine that? What happens is that by the time you substitute your value, what you have on the left hand side and what you have on the right hand side must be equal. Nǹkan tá à ń try láti ṣe nìyẹn. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà mú equation yẹn. Equation yẹn sọ wípé 3y is equal to 2x minus 9. We now want to know if 2, 3 lie on this line. Mo wá sọ pé kíní yìí nǹkan tó wà ní báyìí ẹ kàn máa dá padà sínú equation yìí ni. Ohun tún yàtọ̀ sí x1 minus x1 y1 ó yàtọ̀. So wàá kàn dá padà sínú ẹ̀ ni. So when you return it, èyí ló máa jẹ́ x, èyí ni ó jẹ́ y. Tó bá dá padà síbí á jẹ́ 3 into y jẹ́ 3 pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó wà ní báyìí is equal to 2, x jẹ́ 2 àkọ́ 2 síbẹ̀ minus 9. So ibi báyìí 3 times 3 ó ṣe 9, 2 times 2 ìyẹn jẹ́ 4 minus 9. So 9 is equal to minus 5. So gbogbo wa la mọ̀ pé 9 àti minus 5 they are not equal. So in that sense we can say that 9 is not equal to minus 5. So nítorí pé nǹkan tó wà lápá ọ̀tún àtàpá òsì wọn papọ̀, then we can say that this your 2,3 does not lie on the line.
Hours.
Okay, so we can say that therefore 2,3 does not lie on the line 3y is equal to 2x minus 9. Ṣó ti yé báyìí? Ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ tó bá ti yé báyìí. I think you should understand it now. If you don't understand, the video will be available again on YouTube so that you can, watch all over again. But I believe I have explained to a reasonable extent. Now, for the C part of the question, that is asking you to find the coordinates of the point where the line cuts the axis. So singular ni axis, èyí ni singular, èyí ni plural. So tó bá ti rí axis mo ti mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe ẹyọkan ni wọ́n ń sọ. Eléyìí ẹyọkan ni, eléyìí méjì. A dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé nínú àkíní axis wa a máa ní x a dẹ̀ máa ní y. So nǹkan tó máa ṣe ní bíbá yìí, I won't be able to explain again today because my time is up. The meeting will end in about 2 minutes. So, but I believe the one that I have explained is clear enough. So, if you have any question, any concern, please let me know. I will be unmuting the mic now. If you have anything to say it very quickly before the class ends. So the microphone is on now. If you have anything to say, please do. And if there is nothing, the assignment and the video will be available as soon as the class ends. Comments? Any comments? No comments? Okay. Since there are no comments, I would say that the class has ended for today. It has ended for today actually. We cannot go any further. So see you next week, Saturday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.